My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to break down the entire UFC 278 fight card, and we're going to talk about DraftKings. I'm going to give you my predictions, my picks. We're going to talk about who you should leave in your lineup, who you should remove from your lineup, and give you what you need to hopefully make some money. But before I jump in, go to WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. And we give you all the tools you could ever need to build winning lineups, including an optimizer. We have an optimizer. You can go in there and build up to 150 different lineups. You can pick your fades, you can pick your locks, and let the optimizer do the rest. It will build lineups for you. It is only $10 a month. You get the optimizer. You get DraftKings ownership projections every single week for every single event. And that doesn't even include all the betting and other DFS content we are putting up there. $10 a month. It is the best value in the history of MMA. WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member. It's $2.50 a week. And we now have an optimizer at the same low price. So let's jump in. We'll talk about these fighters. We'll talk about who you should keep, who you should ignore. And we're going to start at the bottom. You see here, though, Miranda Maverick, Shanna Young. That fight's done. It's canceled. Shanna Young apparently is in the hospital, which really sucks because I thought Miranda was going to do really well in that fight and score some solid points. But opening up the card, we got Victor Altamirano taking on Daniel Da Silva. It's an interesting fight. The betting line has Altamirano as like a 2-1 favorite. DraftKings a little more conservative with their pricing. Both guys are solid striking. Neither one are very good grapplers. But Daniel Da Silva, I think, is the far more dangerous fighter here. He's never been to a decision, wins or losses. So this is a tricky fight for sure, but I do think Daniel Da Silva gets it done, and I like that $7,600 price point. This loss here to Figueiredo, he did get the takedown. He was submitted pretty quickly, but he got the takedown, and that might be the difference here because Victor Altamirano, he's also coming off a loss. It was a split decision, so that was a little closer than what a lot of people think, but he lost this fight because he was taken down and he was ridden out. I think Daniel Da Silva probably hits a little harder, is a little more dangerous, and he's the underdog, so he might be a solid underdog play at $7,600. We got Corey Lang taking on Jay Perrin. I like a Corey Lang to get it done. $8,500 probably is honestly a pretty affordable price. I think he should be closer to a 2-1 favorite. This line has tightened a bit, but I think Corey Lang gets it done. He's a well-rounded guy. He's got incredible pressure, a solid pace. He can fight technical. He can brawl. He can get takedowns, as we've seen here. And what's interesting, so these are losses, right? But in Jeff Molina, he out-grappled the crap out of him. Cody Durden, he outstruck the crap out of him. So we've seen him do really well in both aspects of MMA, right? So, and he's coming off this knockout over Elsay. I think he gets it done. I think he wins. $8,500 a solid price point. If we take a look at Jay Perrin very quickly, he's coming off this loss to Mario Batista, but it was short notice. It was a UFC debut. He's primarily a wrestler. He comes forward, he strikes, and then he shoots. So that concerns me a little bit, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Jay Perrin probably not going to be able to take down Corey Lang, and Corey Lang's going to get it done at $8,500. We got Emir Albazi returning after 18 months away, and he's taking on Francisco Figueiredo, the younger Figueiredo brother. But I think Albazi is a legitimate prospect. I think he's going to get takedowns whenever he wants them. He's got phenomenal grappling once he gets it to the ground, and even his takedowns are great. He'll come in, he bounces on his toes, he'll throw some strikes, bang, snatch up a single, get it to the ground, and then hunt for those submissions. He's fighting Francisco Figueiredo, the younger Figueiredo brother. Not as good as his older brother, but still very good. He's got this submission win over Daniel Da Silva, who we just broke down. He was taken down. He got that submission. Listen, I do think Albazi gets it done. We're not really getting him at an affordable price. So do you think he gets the stoppage? That's what it comes down to. I think Albazi wins this fight, but $9,200 is a steep price point, and he's coming back after a long layoff, and that always worries me here. So, you know, we'll see what happens with the lineups, but $9,200 will honestly probably end up being money well spent. But again, 18 months off, Figueiredo's not exactly a slouch on the ground, and that's what Albazi's going to need to do to get that win. So I'll probably leave him off at $9,200, but we'll take a closer look once the fights go ahead and get started. Then we got Ange Loosa and he's taking on AJ Fletcher, my guy. AJ, we'll talk about him in a second, but Angelusa is a good striker. He's a good striker. He had that failed Contender Series fight. Then he came back and he lost to Lazez. But this Munir Lazez fight, he stepped up on short notice a week after fighting on the regional scene. And frankly, if he had a full camp, it looked like he was going to win that fight. He's got solid power, decent volume, a really, really solid chin, and decent takedown defense. He's got a high percentage takedown defense, and he'll need that because he is fighting AJ Fletcher. And AJ Fletcher, coming off a loss in his UFC debut, but frankly, I think it was a win. He scored 64 points. That's more points than Matt Semmelsberger scored, and Matt won the fight. He scored more points. He got 4 takedowns. Solid control time, good effort, $6,900. Frankly, you should have added 30 to that score because I think he won the decision. So it should have been a 94-point effort from AJ Fletcher. I think AJ wins this fight. I think it looks very similar to this. A little less sloppy, though. He was kind of sloppy with Semmelsberger. I think it looks similar to this. Maybe one fewer takedown because Angelusa has that good takedown defense. But I think he gets the takedowns. I think he scores well. $8,400, I think, is a solid price point for AJ Fletcher. Then we got Sean Woodson taking on Luis Saldana. Sean Woodson was a pro boxer, legitimate, like very good hands boxer. He's come over to MMA, and he's looking pretty good. We didn't really see his power until his last fight, and he's ripping the body, working that power in there. I think Sean Woodson gets the win, potentially gets a stoppage, $8,800. I think it's a solid price point. But it does worry me a bit because look at the last time he was $8,800, 61 points. Do you feel like you got your money's worth with $8,800 if he only scores 61 points? He is fighting Luis Saldana. Luis Saldana is also a versatile striker. He can strike defensively. He can strike offensively. And he's got a solid striking differential. He's landing 5 strikes for every 2 that he receives. He does have issues with wrestlers, but I don't think that's going to matter here. So I do think Sean Woodson gets this done. We probably need a stoppage out of him for him to be worth that $8,800. And frankly, I think we might get a stoppage out of him. So Sean Woodson, again, we can't pick all these people that I'm saying in one single lineup, but I do think Sean Woodson probably solid for the money. And this is where an optimizer comes in handy. This is where an optimizer, which we have available to you for only $10 a month, is you can go in there and you could say, yeah, I definitely want these 2 fighters. I don't know about the rest. And then click the button and the optimizer will go ahead and build the rest of your lineup. You put your 2 tent poles in there, it'll build the rest. You can say, definitely put these 2 in, definitely avoid these 2, and it will build the lineup for you. 1 up to 150, however many you want. It's only $10 a month. And it's not even just the optimizer. We also do projected DraftKings ownership. We have all sorts of bets, fades, all sorts of other stuff. $10, WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. All right, sales pitch over. We got Jared Gordon taking on Leonardo Santos. I think Jared Gordon wins this fight. I do not think he's worth $8,900. And at the press conference the other day, he's talking about MMA doesn't fulfill me. What the fuck? This is your job? This is the type of job that if you don't love it, you shouldn't do it. That has me worried. I didn't like him at $8,900 already, but that does have me worried. Frankly, if he loved his job and he shows up and he's ready to go out there and get this done, he could probably get it done because, Jared Gordon, he's a good grappler. He gets himself to takedowns. He's a pretty busy guy. He scores well in his wins, 74, 95. 121. These are decisions. 120 points in a decision. 95 in a decision. So he does score well when he wins, and he's fighting Leonardo Santos. Leonardo Santos had an incredible 8-year run without a loss, and now he's coming off 2 losses in a row. But he's a dangerous guy. He's got power in his hands, and he's a very, very accomplished grappler. I think it's 7-time world BJJ champion. So Gordon may not want to get all of those takedowns. He could be in trouble. But listen, I do think Jared Gordon gets this done. He might score really well, and he might get a stoppage if he wins. Frankly, look, Grant Dawson put him out. Clay Guida submitted him, which is supposed to not happen, right? And that was after he put a beating on Clay Guida. But, frankly, I think Jared Gordon wins this fight. $8,900 is a lot of money to spend, especially on somebody who now is nervous, not nervous, but has me nervous because he doesn't love his job. And I might end up eating these words because Jared Gordon, you saw the points he puts up in a freaking decision, let alone a finish. And Leonardo Santos is 43, I believe. And he gets finished in his losses. So, you guys do what you want there. Jared Gordon probably would be a good play in DraftKings. But honestly, that interview does have me a little nervous. Probably more nervous than it should. Then we got Alexander Romanov taking on Marcin Tybura. Listen, Alexander Romanov is a beast, right? A beast. He's going to get his takedowns. He's going to elbow people in the face. He's going to pound away. He's going to get things done. But, if we go to this Juan Espino fight, a lot of people think he lost that fight. He was taken down 3 times. He gave up some control. Luckily, he got his own takedowns. He was able to win this fight with the judges. But this has me nervous because Marcin Tybura is a grappler. He's a grappler. Granted, he's not getting as many takedowns as Romanov is, but that's also because he's getting some stoppages. You don't need 3 takedowns if you're TKOing people in the first and the second round. And that is what has me a little nervous, but I still think Alexander Romanov is going to take down Marcin, elbow him in the face, and get this done. I think it's literally that simple. I've got bets on Alexander Romanov, but I fully recognize that Marcin Tybura has the better record. I mean, let's look who he beat. Walt Harris, that's not the great win, but he beat Ben Rothwell. He beat Spivak. He beat Stefan Struve. He fought Fabricio Verdum. He beat Andrei Arlovski. I mean, he's definitely had the higher level of competition, but I think there's levels to this. There's levels to power, levels to athleticism, levels to ability, and I think Romanov is just on the next level with all of those things. $9,000, he's probably worth that price point. We got Tyson Pedro versus Harry Hunsucker. Listen, Tyson Pedro, Sean V in our comment section, who I can't stand 99% of the time. Real negative Nancy, loves making absolute statements. Terrible pick, terrible read, and then he's just dead wrong. Anyway, he had a statistic. He does have some solid stats. He had a stat that said something like the $9,500 fighter is in the optimal lineup 80% of the time, something like that. So, logic would tell you that Tyson Pedro at $9,500 will be in the optimal lineup. I don't think Tyson Pedro is that good. I don't think he's that good. I mean, he's 2-3 in his last 5. Shogun Hua beat him in 2018. St. Preux beat him in 2018. And then he took years off, came back, and yes, he beat Ike Villanueva. Ike Villanueva is a 500 fighter who was 38 years old. And yes, he's fighting Harry Hunsucker. And people are going to say, well, Harry Hunsucker's not good. Harry Hunsucker's literally never been out of the first round. All 7 of these wins are in the first round. Yes, so are all 5 losses. But I think Justin Tafa knocks out Tyson Pedro. I think Tai Tuivasa knocks out Tyson Pedro. So now we're looking at 2 heavyweights who are kind of sloppy, pretty low-level heavyweight fight that could knock each other out. Tyson Pedro probably wins this fight. Probably wins by knockout, but he's actually a grappler. Harry Hunsucker is just going to come charging forward, throwing bombs. 7 times that's worked for him before. So I'm fading this fight. I might be dead wrong. I'm fading this fight. Tyson Pedro probably wins. And if he wins, he'll win by knockout and he'll score a ton of points. I just think there's, and maybe I'm wrong, you people jump down my throat, but Harry Hunsucker's a big, powerful dude who was knocking out heavyweights. And now he's at light heavyweight. I think he can get it done. Do I think he'll, should I put him in my lineup at $6,700? Probably not. We'll see what happens when I'm building it, but probably not. So I'm fading that fight. Long story long, I'm fading that fight. Then we have Lucy Pudalova, and she is on the main card, which makes no sense to me. She's 1-4 in her last 5. She's taking on Yanan Wu, who, guess what, is 1-4 in her last 5. And sorry, Lucy Pudalova is actually 4-1 in her last 5 in the world of MMA, but 1-4 in her last 5 in the UFC. And she was cut in 2020. Then she went on the regional scene, got 4 wins, got herself a loss, and now she's back. Thank God. Thank you, UFC gods. Lucy Pudalova is back. And we put her on the main card of an $80 pay-per-view. Oh, they listened. We spoke and they listened. What an absolute joke this fight is. Lucy Pudalova, frankly, it's a very low-level women's MMA fight, but, you know, style-wise, she's a powerful striker. She likes to circle. She likes to throw heavy, and it's a lot of 1-2s, and she stays busy. She's fighting Yanan Wu, or Wu Yanan. She's a good Muay Thai striker. She's got grappling if she needs it. She moves well. She's got good volume. She doesn't really have any power, and she is losing these fights, but Bueno Silva's a good fighter. Jocelyn Edwards is a good fighter. Mizuki's a good fighter. Gina Mazzani, not great. Not great. But I think Yanan Wu gets this done. $7,900 is not cheap enough for me, though, for either one of these women. If Yanan Wu was the $7,000 fighter, $7,200 fighter, bang, in my lineup, because I do think she wins this fight. I think she's busy enough. She's been fighting the higher level of competition. I think she absolutely wins this fight, but unfortunately, this fight's going to suck, and it shouldn't be on the main card. End of that story. Then we got Merab Dvalishvili taking on Jose Aldo. Merab Dvalishvili is a takedown machine. Let's just look at these numbers. 4, 5, 2. Okay, fine, 2. 13, 12, 5, 5, 6, 11. It's insane. It is insane, the numbers that this guy puts up with takedowns. And that's why his points are insane. Look how well this animal scores. Coming off 2 losses in the UFC. Started his career, 2 losses, bang. Look at all of these wins. Look at all of these takedowns. What's the stat? I have the stat in front of me. 46 takedowns in 7 fights. A 7-fight win streak with 46 takedowns. That's absolutely insane. And that is his path to victory. He will not be the better striker. He will not have more power in his hands. He will wrestle. That is his path to victory, but he's fighting Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo has some of the best takedown defense in the history of the UFC, in the history of this division. He's one of the most accomplished fighters of all time, and I think he's a 145-pound GOAT, better than Volkanovski. Not today, obviously, but I think in their primes, Jose Aldo beats Volkanovski, and his career is obviously better than Volkanovski's at this point. Volk could pass him, clearly. Jose Aldo, phenomenal striker, legit power, insane leg kicks, which he has not been using recently, and very good takedown defense. And he has only, let's look at, we're not going to see on this the way they do the stats here, but he has only ever, in 27 fights with the UFC and WEC, he has only ever been taken down more than once, one time. And that was Frankie Edgar, who took him down twice, and Frankie Edgar still lost that fight. So in 27 fights, only one single human being has ever been able to take Jose Aldo down more than one time. And it was Frankie Edgar who lost the fight. That is what concerns me here. I think Merab wins this fight because even if he doesn't full-fledged get the takedown, he'll get the control time against the cage. Frankly, I do think he does get the takedowns because you saw the stats I rattled off. The difference between Merab and a Frankie will dance around and strike and has very good striking. Merab doesn't give a shit about striking. He's going to shoot over and over and over and over. And that's going to be a lot of takedowns defended, and he will give up 1 or 2 or 3. I think Merab wins this fight. The pricing is perfect. You pick your side. Pick your side. Either one of these guys should be in your lineup because if Jose wins, he's going to score really well with a knockout. If Merab wins, it's going to be takedowns. It's going to be control time. Put one of these guys in your lineup. We got Rockhold taking on Paulo Costa. Listen, Paulo Costa started his career as a grappler. BJJ black belt, legitimate grappler, getting the takedowns. Let's scroll down here. Well, not really in the UFC because that was later in his career, but he started his career as a grappler. And he's evolved into a powerful, powerful striker. And look at the people he's knocked out. Don't worry about the first 2. That's nonsense. But Hendricks, Hall. Yoel Romero was a decision, and that was an all-timer. And Paulo Costa, people think he doesn't have very good cardio because the Izzy fight was very boring. The Vettori fight was not boring. But he's got legitimate cardio. And go back and watch the Romero fight. He's breathing heavy. He's exhausted, and he kept pushing forward. And look at this loss to Vettori. 73 points in a loss. That is incredible. That is incredible. And that same could happen here. Granted, this is 3 rounds and not 5, but that only favors Paulo. Now he can go harder, faster. These 2 losses were, in 5-round fights. Granted, this one didn't go a full 5 rounds, and he had all sorts of issues coming into the Izzy fight, but Listen, he looked pretty good against Marvin Vettori. I think he absolutely smokes Luke Rockhold. But the concern is Luke Rockhold is a former champion. He is a former champion. He is an accomplished wrestler, but he's turned into a striker over time. And he has been kill or be killed. I mean, look at this. It's all stoppages. All of it. He's got 2 decisions. The rest are stoppages. Kill or be killed. And the takedowns are spotty, right? He took down... Branch was a BJJ black belt. And this is the one win that concerns me a little bit. Granted, it was 5 years ago, but he could get those takedowns against Paulo Costa because not many people are trying to take him down. Even Yoel Romero wasn't really trying to take him down. And Luke Rockhold has very good wrestling, and if he wants to use it, he can use it. That's what he did against Weidman. That's what he did against Branch. Both of them, Weidman, very good wrestler. Branch, very good jiu-jitsu guy. But Luke Rockhold's 38 years old. He's coming back after 3 years away, and his chin is suspect. Knockout, knockout, knockout. And that's how Luke Rockhold's losing. Knockouts. Paulo Costa has proven to have some power in his hands. He's got youth on his side. He's got, I don't want to say experience on his side because Luke Rockhold's a former champion, but he's got recent experience on his side, activity on his side. I think Paulo Costa gets it done. I would have preferred better pricing. I do have a bet on him in real life, but $8,700, I'll take it. Paulo Costa should probably be in your lineup. And then we have the main event of the evening. Kamaru Usman is taking on Leon Edwards for the second time. Let's go ahead and find that fight here. Where is it? Here we go. The first time they fought was in 2015. He put up 114 points. He had 6 takedowns, 12 minutes of control time in a 3-round fight. So we already know he can out-wrestle Edwards. We already know that. Can he outstrike him? I think so. Jacob, the other guy on this channel, is so far opposite of me on this pick, it's out of control. And he might be right. He's on a wild underdog pick streak with his lock of the week. I think Kamaru Usman can outstrike, and I know that's a controversial take. I think his striking has looked incredible, and he has raw power. He's knocking people out. Who the hell's Leon Edwards knocking out? Nobody. And we know Kamaru's got the wrestling. And this is when people say, oh, his knees are bad. That is your strategy? To just pray to God that Kamaru Usman's knees aren't good enough to take you down? Leon Edwards is literally saying his knees are bad. I'll beat him. When actual fighters say, I want the best version of my opponent, Leon Edwards is like, oh, please, let those knees be bad. That's not a strategy. Leon Edwards, the same guy who got punched in the face on camera backstage by, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. How am I forgetting his name? George Masvidal, and did nothing about it. Leon Edwards, very skilled striker. I don't think it's going to be enough. I just don't think it's going to be enough. He was winning this fight before he got poked in the eye, and he beat Nate Diaz, but he landed fewer strikes. He landed 83. Nate Diaz landed 50 more strikes, 5-0 more. And look at this. Leon Edwards with 4 takedowns, 6 minutes of control time. All of a sudden, he's a wrestler. All of a sudden, he's shooting takedowns, trying to hold him down because he couldn't hang with Nate Diaz in the striking. So obviously, I know he worked Nate Diaz. It was very clear he won that fight. He beat Nate Diaz's face. But Leon Edwards was on ice skates at the end of that fight, was outstruck according to the stats, and had to use his wrestling. You could say, wow, it showed he has wrestling. That's true. Leon Edwards is a very good fighter. He's not going to be good enough. I absolutely think Kamaru Usman dominates this fight. Jacob wholeheartedly disagrees. One of us is going to be dead wrong. You guys pick your side. Leon Edwards is a good underdog. If you truly think he's going to outstrike Usman and Usman's knees are bad, Leon Edwards absolutely needs to be in your lineup at $7,100. Guys, become a premium member. It's $10 a month. That's $2.50 a week. Even if you think my insight is trash city, you get an optimizer and DraftKings ownership projections. You don't even need my opinion for it to be worth $10. Go elsewhere. They're charging $10 just for the DraftKings ownership projections. You want an optimizer? That's another $10, $20, $50 from some people. It is $10 from us. It includes everything we do, and we will continue to add features, continue to add functionality. We will never touch that $10 price point. $10 a month, DraftKings ownership projections, an optimizer, all of our bets, our player rankings, and everything else. Go to WeWantPicks.com and at the top, click Become a Member.